Now, let's translate this into our example. So in our example, we're going to be targeting the Metasploitable machine. So our web server is going to be the Metasploitable machine. And we're not going to be using a DNS server. So we're not going to be using a name like facebook.com. We'll be accessing the website directly using its IP address. So like we've seen before, if we just go here to our Metasploitable machine and type in ifconfig, you'll see that my IP is 10.20.14.2.14. And if I go here to my Metasploit machine, to my Kali machine, you'll see that if I type in 10.20.14.2.14, you'll see that I can access my Metasploitable machine. So the web server here is the Metasploitable machine itself. The web applications are Metilidae, PHPMyAdmin, DVWA, and all of these. So these are web applications, and when we click on them, you can see, for example, here, it's written in PHP. So it's written in this programming language. It's also using a MySQL server, which can be accessed through PHPMyAdmin. So these are just technologies used on the web server, but the web server itself is the Metasploitable machine here. So when you put the IP address, when you put 10.20.14.2.14, we're actually accessing the Metasploitable machine. And inside the Metasploitable machine, we have technologies, we have interpreter that's running PHP code, we have a web server and a database. And these are running the web application for us, which is Metilidae, DVWA, and all of them. So knowing these components leave us to knowing how we can hack a website. So there is more than one thing that we can exploit to gain control over a website. Now, the main thing, the obvious thing that you'd think of is the web applications. So it's the thing that you always interact with. For example, on Facebook, it's where you search for stuff and where you upload pictures, where you write posts. All of these things are handled by the web application because it's the thing that you click, the thing that you interact with. So for example, if I go here on Metilidae and I start browsing the web page, this is my web application. So every time I click on something, it's being handled and executed by the web application on the web server. So if I could exploit this web application in some way, if I could gain access to it, if I could connect to the database, because obviously this web application connects to the database, then I'll be able to maybe gain control over the website and maybe even gain access to the web server and then get access to other websites on the same server. We'll talk about all of that later in the course. The other way of gaining access to websites is using the computer itself. So let's say your target was DVWA and you couldn't get in, you couldn't find any exploits in the web application itself. You tried everything, you tried all the exploits that we're going to talk about, and you just couldn't get in. Then your other option would be to exploit the programs installed on that computer, because we said a web server, the website, is installed on a normal computer, just like your home computer. So if you couldn't get in using the web applications, what if there is one of the programs installed on the computer itself has an exploit, has a buffer overflow or a remote execution exploit? What if the web server itself or the database program, the program that's running the database itself, had a remote root exploit that allows you to just gain access to the whole web server, including all the websites inside it? So this will be really cool if you could get it. If you couldn't find anything wrong with the applications installed on the web server on the operating system, then you could target the humans, because we know websites are managed by humans. For example, Facebook, you can target Mark, or you can target the admins of Facebook, for example. These admins obviously have more privileges on that website than you, and then they might be able to upload sensitive files to that website, and then you can control it and hack it by hacking into one of those people. So instead of, maybe the website is very secure and the server is very secure and there's no way that you can get in, but you can always exploit the humans using social engineering attacks and client-side attacks to gain control or hack one of the people that manage that target website and then maybe gain access to it. Now, this course will be concerned with the web application penetration testing. So it's concerned with the first step, with the first approach. So we're going to learn how to discover and exploit a large number of vulnerabilities that can be found in the web application itself. We're not going to be talking about server-side attacks, so the attacks that exploit the operating system and the applications installed on the operating system itself of the web server. And we're not going to be talking about the client-side attacks, about attacking humans and hacking their accounts and then gaining access to the website. All of the last two sections are actually covered into my general ethical hacking course. So I have a course called Learn Ethical Hacking from Scratch, which covers those two aspects. Therefore, in this course, we're going to be focusing on the web application penetration testing side. So on hacking the websites based on the web applications installed on that website.